Hi guys, and welcome back to channel Life in the Greyland. Well, today I'm going to talk about something that's very close to my heart, and that is my stomach. My stomach is quite close to my heart, and particularly I'm going to talk about how I'm trying to get my belly fat down to a level where I feel comfortable and happy with. Now, I'm not a doctor or a dietitian or advisor or anything really. All I know is, I know how I look and how I feel. And the wonderful thing with the internet now, we can all do our own research. And of course, they say you can't believe everything you hear or see on the internet. So when it comes to getting some advice or doing some research in regards to your own health, it pays to get a broad spectrum of opinions, and you can do that on the internet or YouTube. But if you get about 10 or 12 opinions or videos on the subject that you're interested in, there will be some that overlap, and there will be a common theme, and there will be common things that come through all of the different opinions and videos. And those things that overlap are usually where you can find the truth, or something pretty close to the truth. So that's what I've been doing. I've been looking at food, health food, good food, bad food, fats, belly fat. Belly fat in particular is very, very dangerous apparently, especially if you get to my age or get over the age of 40, 50. Belly fat is the worst kind of fat to have. And I worked for the Neurological Foundation for 5 years, and I used to visit a lot of elderly people, and I'm talking about people 80 and over, and none of them had belly fat, which made me think, where are all the ones that have all the big bellies? Well, the truth of the matter is, and we don't like to say it or hear it, but they're all gone. If you want, or the ones that seem to live to 80 and over, they didn't have the belly fat. They didn't have the big bellies. My father and my uncle had very big bellies, and I always thought to myself and said to myself, I don't want to be like that. As I was growing up, going through my teens and midlife, I always thought, I'm not going to be like that. But those of you who have seen my Kiwi Van Man channel, you'll see that I was very slim when I was making my first videos, but over the last couple of years or so, you can see me on the videos, my stomach getting bigger and bigger. And I wouldn't say that I'm fat, and I wouldn't say that I'm obese, but I would say that I'm growing more uncomfortable and unhappy with the size of my stomach and the way I feel and the way I look. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, guys. What do you feel comfortable with? At my peak, I was at 90 kgs. And if you're comfortable and happy at 90 kgs, that's great. It's all about you being healthy, you feeling comfortable and happy with the way you are. But I wasn't happy with that. So I needed to make some changes. Anyway, a few weeks ago, I decided to embark on one of the most difficult challenges I have ever tried to achieve in my entire life. And that is to eat less. I know it sounds stupid, it's crazy, but we sort of grow up, and we're very fortunate really, compared to other places around the world, but we're growing up being given these big plates of food right from when we were a child. And growing up, we had a big plate of food served to us each night, potatoes, roast vegetables, and a piece of meat. And we weren't allowed to leave the table until we finished it. That's right. We had to finish what was on our plate. Even though we weren't hungry or even though we were full, we had to sit there until we finished our plate. So all through life, we're trained to eat this big plate of food and just used to eating this big plate of food from our childhood right through our teenage years. We've got to eat as much as we can. We eat a big plate of food or a big helping every night as the main meal. So to get to your midlife or past your midlife and decide that you're going to start having little meals is quite a challenge. You know, it's not so much the hunger. I think it's a mental thing, really. I really do. It's also about eating healthy. Of course, you've got to have healthy food. But I found that I had a huge big plate of food, but healthy food, I still wasn't really losing any weight. There was no way around it. I come to the conclusion that I had to literally start eating less. And boy, is that a hard hurdle to jump over. It really is. So at my peak, I was about 90 kgs, and I really wanted to get my stomach down. Most of my midlife sort of time, I've sat around about 84, 85 kgs, and I looked quite slim, I looked in shape, and I felt good. And of course, I bought a lot of nice clothes that fitted me when I was 84, 85. So I wanted to get back to that. So I need to get down from 90 down to 85. So some of the things I looked at is the food, what kind of food you should be eating. The other is when should you be eating it, which is also very, very important. And of course, the third one was how much of it should you eat. So it's very difficult. Dieting or eating less is quite hard. It doesn't come naturally. So I'll go through my typical routine. And what I suggest everyone does, if you are concerned about your weight or your health, is just Google or go into the internet and find out what your ideal weight is for someone of your height and your age. And that will come up with a number. It doesn't mean to say that's where you have to be. You could be quite healthy and happy above that or below that. But it kind of gives you a reality check. You know, you say, oh, I'm happy at 200 kgs. I'm healthy, I'm happy. But for your age, maybe you should be an 80 or something like that. So it's just a reality check, and it gives you an idea of where you should be or approximately should be. And you should only try and do this, of course, if you're not happy, if you've decided that you want to change or you're not happy with the way you feel, the way you look, then it's your choice if you want to do it or not. Anyway, I decided I needed to do it. I wanted to do it. So I've changed my routine. I used to get up in the morning and have a huge breakfast. I thought, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You got to have a big cooked breakfast and cereal and toast and some eggs. And then I'd work through to lunch, have a big lunch. And then, of course, I'd have some afternoon tea. There'd be a couple more biscuits, 2 or 3 biscuits and another coffee or a tea. And then evening, there'd be a huge, big evening meal with meat and vegetables and rice. And then, of course, there's supper as well. And those of you who have been following my Kiwi Van Man channel, my camping channel, you always see me cooking up a big steak, or in the morning I'm cooking up bacon and eggs and all this kind of thing. Now that only happens when I go camping. Unfortunately, I only get away camping about 3 times a year, 3 or 4 times a year. So that doesn't happen very often now. So typically my routine now would be I would have a small to no breakfast because I don't feel hungry at breakfast time. I get up, my stomach has been fasting all night. I haven't been eating all night. So my body and stomach has become accustomed to the fact that it's not getting food. So it's very easy to cut back at breakfast because you haven't been working, you haven't built up an appetite, you just feel like nothing. So what I do then is I just have a very small breakfast. I just have one egg, for example, or maybe just one piece of toast, and that's it, or just one poached egg, not cooked in butter or oil. One poached egg, that's it. And of course, a cup of tea. Now, I love my coffee, but I have that a little bit later on. So that'll be my breakfast, just one egg. And after that, and after that's finished, I don't sit around thinking, oh, I need more. I wish I had more. I don't. I finish that, and then I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do today? What do I need to get done? I'm still working. I'm 67. I'm still running my company, still running my YouTube channels. There's always plenty to do. So after I finish that little breakfast snack, if you like, I'm straight away thinking, all right, let's get to work. Let's get something productive done today. Now, even if you're retired or not working, you can still do something productive. Find a sport, find a hobby, find an interest that you're interested in. See if you have that snack, get straight into doing something. Takes your mind off food absolutely completely. So you have your small little snack like your egg, cup of tea, and then I'll go through till about 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, I'm starting to feel a little bit peckish. I've been doing stuff. So I'll come inside, and that's when I'll have my first cup of coffee for the day, around about 11. I'll have a coffee and maybe 2 crackers with some cheese on. Cheese is a very healthy food to have, and I'll list out some of the wonder foods or superfoods for you soon. 2 crackers, a little bit of cheese, and my coffee, and I'm feeling pretty happy, pretty good. Go out and do a little bit more. About 1 o'clock, I'll come in and I will have my lunch. For lunch, I might have a little wee pot of yogurt, 1 banana, and a little mandarin. This is just for example. I'll put some photo up here to show you. Now, the little bowl is very, very small. It fits in the palm of my hand. And I think after a lot of research and listening to different people's opinions, the meals we should have should fit in the palm of our hand. So the bowl that I use fits in the palm of my hand. I have some yogurt. I'll chop up my banana, put it in the yogurt. It's creamy, it's tasty, it's filling. And then maybe a mandarin. And then I'll have another cup of tea. That will be my lunch. So after that, I will pot around, do a few more little things, and then by sort of 2 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock, I'm feeling a bit tired. Remember, I have been working. I'm out in the shed building camper vans, putting furniture together, doing stuff, starting to feel a little bit tired. I will have an afternoon nap. Yep. Now, I'm usually up about 6:30 in the morning. That's when I will sit around, have my cup of tea, catch up with my emails, the business emails, answer questions on Trade Me, have my egg and my breakfast. By sort of 7:30, I'm out doing stuff. So I start quite early in the morning because I feel I've got energy, I feel fresh. But by the time 2 o'clock comes, I'm starting to feel a little bit tired. Well, not every day's the same, but this is just a general idea. After I have a bit of a rest, I might just not have a nap. I might just lie on the couch and watch a YouTube video or something. But I generally just have a rest. After that, I'll get up, do a few chores, pot around, maybe have another cup of tea, and then I'll be into dinner. Now, dinner is also a little bowl that will fit in the palm of your hand. I'll put another picture up here. It's generally rice, and that little bowl will only be half full of rice if we're having rice. My partner's Chinese, so May always cooks Chinese food, usually. So there'll be half a bowl of rice, and there'll be some vegetables, a little bit of meat, or whatever. It'll all fit in that little bowl. Sometimes I'm a little bit naughty, and when the bowl gets half down, I might pick a few other items to eat. But usually, generally, I try to stick to what's in that little bowl, and that will be my dinner. Now, this is where it gets hard, guys. This is where it gets hard for me. After dinner, we've cleaned up, I sit down and relax. I want to watch some sport on Sky TV or watch something on Netflix. And I try not to eat anything sweet the whole evening. In fact, from 4 o'clock on, nothing sweet at all. And after dinner, no snacks. I got to watch the movie, watch the sport or whatever. I can have a cup of tea or some water or whatever, but no snacks. This is the hard part for me. Okay, one of the other superfoods, the really foods that are really, really good for your body and your health is Brazil nuts. They're very, very rich protein and all sorts of goodness in those Brazil nuts. Not the chocolate-coated Brazil nuts, okay? Just the raw, normal Brazil nuts are very good for you. But it's very, very rich. The oils and the chemicals that are good for your brain and your body in the Brazil nuts, you can't have too many. So limit yourself to 3 a day. I limit to myself to about 2 or 3 Brazil nuts a day. You buy them in the bulk sections at the supermarkets, put them in a bag, ziplock them. Get home, I put them in seal them in a jar. Just take a couple out a day. Sometimes I will crunch it up and put it in my yogurt with the banana. Or you can just eat them like lollies while you're watching the sport or something on TV. Now the yogurt I have is always the natural unsweetened yogurt, not the ones with all the apricots and all the sugar and all that flavouring stuff in. Just get the pot of natural unsweetened yogurt. Now you may have your superfoods that you eat that are quite different to mine. If you know what they are, tell us what they are. If you have something that's worked for you, something really healthy that you love to eat that's on that superfood list, put it in the comments below. I would like to learn from what you know, what you have experienced, and other people would too. So if you have something that works for you, you think it's a good thing to eat when you're losing weight, or something that should be on the list of the superfoods, the wonder foods, put it in the comments below so that we can all learn something. That would be great, because I haven't reached my target yet. These are the things that I am doing. It's working for me slowly. It may not work for you, I don't know, but I'm just telling you what's working for me. If nothing else, I hope this video sort of inspires you to have a go. Now, there's one more thing that I'm including in my Get Slim campaign, and that is the exercise. About 4 days a week, I try and get out on my bike, and I really strongly encourage you to get that exercise as well. Even just going for a walk is very, very good. Go 2 or 3 blocks, about 25 minutes a day, or about three or 4 times a week. But lately, I've just been using my bike. I've got a manual bike that I've got to pedal, my old classic bike, and then sometimes I just take the electric bike. You don't need a flash bike. You can buy one very, very cheap on Trade Me. They're everywhere. Just get an old bike and get that exercise going. If you're able, if you're over 15, you can still get up and about and go for walks and ride your bike. It's low impact and it's very, very good for you. Apparently, cycling is very good for your health. It's very good for you physically and also mentally, apparently. So it's very good to get an old bike and just get out there and do some cycling. When our camping group goes out, and most of us have bikes, we all bring our bikes and we go for bikes together. Make sure you've got your safety gloves so you can protect yourself if you fall off, and also your safety helmet. A great form of exercise. So in summary, basically all I'm doing, guys, is one, I'm eating really good food, healthy food, but I'm eating less of it, and I'm choosing when I eat it, okay? No snacks or nothing sweet, no snacks after dinner, and it's working so far. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you do to stay young and healthy and fit. But at the end of the day, it's all about you being happy in your own skin. It's all about you being happy with the way you look and the way you feel. That's what it's all about. And if you're like me, you're not happy, then you can do something. So hopefully this video inspires you. Now I'm going to finish up, and I'll see you on the next video. Remember, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up way too much space. Over and out. Cheers.